Morning guys, welcome back to the podcast, episode 4 we're on now. This episode is all about environment. I'm a big believer environment dictates success. And before we kick in, look, if you're new to this podcast, you've not heard of me before, my name's Dean Barton. Follow me at Instagram and YouTube at Dean Barton Real. This is going out on YouTube as well as a video format. If you're watching, you'll see that I've got my new Construction Entrepreneur t-shirt on. Construction Entrepreneur is my coaching, mentorship, mastermind platform, if you want to put it that way, where I help construction businesses grow, get to the next level. It's not for new businesses. There is enough information on my YouTube and this podcast to get businesses started and start earning money and start turning over. Once you're at the point of doing like 300k a year and above, and you want to grow, you want to scale, you want to build a well-oiled machine, then I can help with Inside Construction Entrepreneur. So with that out of the way, environment is everything. Like the environment that you are in, the environment you place yourself in is going to be the key factor to the success that you're going to get, or the success that you want to get. Now, it's very difficult when you're starting out, or you're early on in business, or it's just you're in your own little world, you're in your own little head. It's only you to bounce ideas off. So it's tough to get into the right environment that is a winning environment that's conducive with fucking results and actually getting ahead. Now, if we break down environment, the first thing you want to look at is your habitat, your home, like where you are based. Your home is your central environment. It's your wife, it's your partner, it's your kids, it's your pet, it's your what you've got going on at home. So you need to get your home shit in order first as base level, because you can control the controllables. I'm a big fan of that, of controlling what you've got right now in front of you. So where you live and everything around you in your immediate habitat environment plays a huge part of your success. If you've got an environment that's reckless, messy, full of arguments, full of fucking bullshit, just crap going on, and mess, just general chaos everywhere, that is not an environment that's conducive with winning and getting results and getting ahead. So you've got to control that first. If you've got issues at home, you've got to fucking remove that. You've got to solve problems. You've got to move on. You can't be arguing about the same stuff. You can't be, worried about the same shit. You can't live in chaos. You can't have fucking mess everywhere. If you have, you need to fucking declutter your environment and have a fucking sort out and clean it, because a clean environment, a clean workspace, a clean home is a clean mind. And a lot of this stuff, you'll find out as we go through more episodes of the podcast, is that a lot of the times there's a lot of the basic stuff that people are not getting right. And it's, environment is one of those things. You can control that. There's a lot of things you can't control in business. There's a lot of things you can't control in construction as well. It fucking goes all over the place. It's a constant moving thing. There is a lot of variables that change all the fucking time. But what you can control is your environment. So it starts with the home. I'm a big believer and a big fan of having to sort out every sort of 3 months and just throwing shit out that I don't use anymore and being ruthless with it. I'll even get Christmas presents if I don't want them or don't need them. I throw them away. And that might sound fucking like rude or wrong, but the amount of people that store stuff for years because they've been gifted to it, they know they're never going to use it. It sits there on the side, it stores, gathers dust, and you end up throwing it away in 2 years' time anyway. So I'll just do it straight away. And it's not an ungrateful thing, it's just a fucking, I keep my environment really fucking clean, and it starts with your habitat. The next thing is your workplace environment, which for some of you might actually still be your home. You might be working from home, doing the office side of stuff, and then obviously everything else is going on site and out, on all the different jobs. But if it's your office, if it's your location, especially growing a team, you need an office and an environment that's friendly, it's proactive, it cultivates telling the truth, being on it, being on the ball, handling stuff, getting stuff done quickly. If your office is a mess, if it's full of shit, there's paperwork stacked up everywhere, there's tools on the side, there's dust on the side, there's the bins overflowing, it drives me fucking crazy, and it doesn't create a nice environment and an atmosphere and a place that's going to produce results, and you'll know this, whatever sports you like or whatever people you look up to, it's just a different level at different clubs. If you take football for the example, a low league, very, very bottom of the table club, the environment's going to be very different to top flight, top 5 clubs out there, they've got it all locked on. The environment is hungry, winning, successful, it's clean, it's got the best stuff, it's got the, it's immaculate, and they've got the best people within that environment as well, which is the next point. It's the people around you, that they form a massive part of your environment. And people, you would have heard before that, right, who you spend your time with, the 5 people, you'll become the 6. Yeah, there is a lot of truth in that, and it's basically, who are you actually associating yourself with all the time? Are you hanging around people that are like the people that you want to be? Like, they might be your friends that you've grown up with, there might be people that you've known for a long time, it might be family as well, but are they actually like what you want to be like? Are they people that you aspire to be like? Are they people that have got the habits, have got the stuff that you want, they've built the businesses that you want? Are they people that have achieved stuff that you want to achieve? And you really got to be a bit ruthless with that and have a bit of a cull sometimes of who you spend your time with, because time waits for no man. And if you've got goals to hit, it's back to this again. It's the environment that you're in is going to be the biggest dictator of that, and largely people. And certain people just do not add value to your life. It's just facts of life. Some people are just consumed in small talk, going around in circles, not achieving anything, not moving forwards, just very steady eddies, watching EastEnders, watching the news, blaming, complaining, and not forward-thinking people. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, which you will be listening to this, and you're in construction, you've got some hunger about you, you've got drive, you want to move forward, you're going to need different people in your corner to actually push you and test you. Because if you're at the top of, if you take your friendship group right now, and really you're at the top of that friendship group, you're the most successful, you earn the most, maybe you've got the most going on, maybe you've got the best relationships, maybe you've got the best setup in life. If you actually evaluate that and review all of your friends, what level are you actually on? If you're at the top of that, that means that you need people above you to aspire to for you to look up to again. Like, it's no good being at the top. You always need to have people above you pushing you and challenging you to grow. And it's really healthy, conducive environment to be in. So people are very, very important to your success. And lastly, your environment is about what you're consuming. Your consumption rate. Are you consuming bullshit? Are you scrolling social media? Are you looking at the wrong people? Are you looking at the wrong pages that are more negative? Are you looking at stuff that's not really going to help you move forward? And are you just being consumed and bogged down by just the wrong shit? You've got to have good consumption. Are you actually spending your time listening to more stuff like this podcast, stuff that's going to help you come up with new ideas, help you push in business, and maybe your personal life as well? Are you consuming the right stuff, or are you consuming the wrong stuff? These are the biggest 4 factors of your environment right now. And, to give you an overview on that, you've always got to be willing to change your environment, which goes against the grain, because people are comfort, they like their comfort and their habits of what environment they know, what people they know, what places they go to. And you've got to be willing to actually push that environment and actually get out of your comfort zone and move on. And I've done this loads of times. If I look back, when I sort of planned this podcast, all I do is just got my book in front of me and I write some notes, some stuff that just comes to mind straight away, because I don't believe in just looking at other people's stuff or researching it. I just go, basically I speak on here based on what I have done, what I know, what works for me, because I think anyone that doesn't do that is just more of a hypocrite. So I've just got some rough notes in front of me, and I've gone back through times where I've deliberately changed my environment. And the first one that I could think of was actually joining a gym. So I was about 17, 18, I think. I can't remember exactly the age. But I joined David Lloyd Gym, which is like the top end gym. It was even more so back then. They're not as good as what they used to be today. But that was the higher flight gym. Most gyms were like 30 quid a month. David Lloyd was 100 quid a month. And the very reason I joined that gym was, well, number one, fitness is important to me. Looking after myself is important to me. But number two, it's where other wealthy, successful people went. So it was a deliberate move to go, right, put me in the arena, the circle. I didn't know anyone at that time. At the time, I come from a council estate. And at that very much time, I was living in a room, renting a room out, just as I was sort of to sort my life out and build my way through it. I didn't have anything then. I didn't have a lot of money. I was just getting by and scraping by and making my way. Come from a broken family and just, did not come from money or success or anything. But I intuitively knew I need to get and break the environment, forget where I was living at the time, and get around the right people and the right environment. And it worked really well, because you then start to meet other business owners, you start to meet people that are successful, and you start associating and making relationships with those people. And that was a really pivotal move for me, because I met a lot of people at David Lloyd. Now, I was just a young kid then, didn't know people. I only knew the wrong people, you know, the drug dealers, the layaways, the fucking lazy people, the bums, the blamers, the excuses people. I come from that environment, so I know what I'm talking about with this. I've changed my environment deliberately. But joining that gym put me around really good, solid people. Not all of them were like business owners as well. Not all of them were wealthy, but some of them were people like firefighters, just good, steady people who work a good, decent job and are actually going somewhere in life and actually trying to achieve something. You know, success is all relative, you know. And it allowed me to meet a group of people, which then the opportunity came up where I saw it as an opportunity, where a group of them were doing what's called an Ironman triathlon. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I'd never fucking heard of this at the time. You know, it was a completely new thing to me. I did not enjoy the thought of doing a triathlon at all. It's not really my bag. I'm not naturally a runner. I'm not naturally a swimmer. And the only time I've been on a bike is on a BMX, you know, burning around a council estate. So the thought of doing a triathlon was completely wrong to me, but the people doing it were high-level people, business owners. It created a pocket for me to sit in to actually get around some of the really good people way ahead of me. So I deliberately forced myself into that environment, an uncomfortable environment that I didn't necessarily want to be in. But I thought, fuck it, in for a penny, in for a pound, put my balls on the line, sign me up. Bearing in mind, I'd never ever done a triathlon before. The longest run I'd ever done at that point was probably a 10K at a push. And an Ironman triathlon is, trying to remember the distances, it's a 2.5 mile swim, a 112 mile bike, and then a marathon at the end, 26.2 mile run. That the idea of that was like, what the fuck are you doing? But I don't worry about doing it. I worry about doing the work to do it, because I know if you do the work, if you set a plan, you set a goal, you do the work, the doing it's the easier bit. And that was exactly what actually happened. Training was the hardest part of it. It was a 6-month period. But then doing the actual race was the easiest part. I felt the best on the actual day. It was the harder days through training. But the key thing is, those 6 months and some time building up to that, I had really good quality time with solid fucking individuals. Some people have done 10 of them, a lot older than me, a lot ahead of me in business and life and everything like that. But it forced me into an environment where we met 4 or 5 times a week, you know, for an hour, 2-hour runs. Saturdays would be a 4-hour, 5-hour bike ride, and you've got really good solid time to talk, get around, learn and change the environment, and just really consume being around the right people that actually expand your mind a bit, open your horizons, open opportunities, open up doors. And it did exactly that. It did exactly that. So I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew, get outside of the comfort zone, get outside of the environment, and it will create opportunities. Don't know what they are. And this is what entrepreneurship is. You don't know what's coming. That is what it is. You've got to put yourself out there a lot of the times and know that something will open up, but you don't know what it's going to be. And it's that element of the unknown. And this is what people can't deal with people who try their hand at a bit of entrepreneurship. You don't know what's coming. There is no set structure, set plan. You don't know what results you might get. You don't know who you're going to meet. But you have to just go with the belief and go, right, I'm putting myself out there a little bit. I'm changing my environment. Something good will happen. That's the attitude and vibe that I want to get across to you guys today. So I did exactly that, and it worked out fucking perfect. It created a lot of opportunities for me, created a lot of great relationships, and it went on to create business opportunities, all sorts of stuff, like loads and loads of stuff. The next thing I did that I thought about was, prior to this, I actually went to a Tony Robbins seminar. So a lot of you might not know who Tony Robbins is, but he's like the American OG of like personal development, growing businesses, you know, fucking pushing yourself forward as a person. He is like the old OG. He's a bit of a weird cookie. He's not for everyone. But at the time, he was the only person available. You know, he was the only one really out there doing like, this is well before fucking podcasts, well before YouTube, you know, the internet kicking off massively. All he did at the time was he had fucking CDs you listen to in the car. And I listened to the CDs in the car. And it was talking about stuff very similar to this, you know, pushing yourself, growing, outlook, your mindset, everything, all this type of stuff that I'm going through with you guys on the podcast. And then one of the things he said was, well, I do an event in America. It's a 3-day course. I can't even remember what it's called. Unleash the Power Within, I think. And it's a 4-day course. A 4-day event. It's him going through loads of stuff in a big fucking stadium. A lot of people go to these things, right? It's a big deal. More so in America. I find Americans were ahead of us in terms of development and personal stuff, you know, whereas, but you know what the Yanks are like, they're a bit more like, yeah, come on, man, let's do it. And the UK is a lot more fucking reserved, you know, and you have to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt. But it's a 4-day event, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go. And the reason I bring that one up especially is that, because at the time I didn't want people to know I was going, because it was weird. It was like way out there from the friendship groups that I had, and, you know, the people that I hang around with, family as well. Like, to say that you're going to America for 4 days to go and learn from someone about personal development, business, everything, that was fucking taboo as fuck back then. That was not on anyone's radar. Whereas now, like, podcasts are everywhere, everyone listens to shit. Younger generations, it's like normal. Like, it's strange if you don't watch someone, you don't follow people on social media, you don't listen to podcasts. You know, it's moved massively. And it was just, you know, at the time I was like, well, there's no point in me fucking talking about it to anyone, because no one else was going to fucking get it, because I didn't have people around me at the time on the same wavelength. And this is exactly what I said, you know, people, environment, you know, I didn't have that at the time. So I was like, right, how do I get the fuck out of this environment? And I saw that as an opportunity. So I went over there. I was with my girlfriend at the time as well, which is now my wife. And we went over there, and we kept it private. We didn't really tell people what we were doing. We just said we were going on holiday. We didn't explain that we're actually spending 4 days, 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, and actually learning from people way ahead of us to help push us forward. And that was a really pivotal thing. And I'll be honest, half of what was said in that event was stuff that I knew anyway. I wasn't, you know, some people go there hoping for a miracle, and they've got a lot of damages. You know, they've got issues going on from bad childhoods and all sorts of shit. But I was just going there to pick up the 1, 2 or 3 things that he's going to say, or nuggets. You know, if you go somewhere for 4 days, you're going to pick something up, and that's what it's all actually about. You know, like this podcast, there might be certain episodes you listen to that you know everything, but just a reminder is good, just to remind you on stuff that you need to do, and maybe it's a little bit of a redirection and gets you back on the course. But sometimes one episode they'll give you, you know, one solid bomb, and you go, fucking hell, I never thought of it like that. Or I've never tried that before, let me put that to place. And that's what it's all about. That's what actual personal development is about. It's just about constantly learning, evolving, and putting yourself in an environment. And you're choosing that environment. You know, you're listening to this podcast. You could be in your van, your truck, in your office listening to this. You are deliberately changing your environment because you're getting new information in. So that's what it's all about. And for me, going to that event was a pivotal moment of going, right, okay, that works, that's cool. And I've constantly kept doing that ever since. You know, I've probably spent over 100 grand now on personal development myself. I understand it, that you're looking for the next nugget to go to the next level, to keep learning all the time, improving, growing, making more money. And that's what it's all about. So you can control that environment by putting yourself out there to go to different stuff. And really it comes back to asking the right people. Because one of the points I said earlier about environment is the people you've got around you. And one thing that I've learned is that certain people you should not ask questions to. So when it comes to your business and trying to grow, or whatever particular problem you've got, it is pointless chatting to your partner about it. It is pointless chatting to your family about it. And it is pointless chatting to your friends about it if they have no experience on that matter. If they've got no experience of running a business or solving a particular problem that you've got, you are only going to get a noisy answer. You are not going to get a clear, concise answer. And the problem we've got now is that information is actually everywhere. So everyone's a bit of an expert on fucking everything. But the practicalities of actually doing it and actually having hands-on experience to know what to really do, because to know in theory is not to know. To know and to have and to have done is to know. So if someone's done it, they are far more suited to give you the answer that you need and what you're looking for. And there's always someone out there that has done it, whatever problem you're going through, wherever you're trying to get to, whatever goal you're trying to get to, someone's already done it, someone's already figured it out. The challenge is listening to the right person who has done it. And, you'll know yourself, if you come home from work, you've got a problem, you chat to your missus, sometimes maybe it's good to have a deload and just like de-stress and get it off your plate, but looking for the actual solution and the overcoming of the hurdle that you've got, you are wasting your time talking to people that don't know what they're talking about, because it's just going to confuse your mind. So you need to get yourself in a position of right environment. Who do I need? What people do I need in that environment for where I am going? And I'm hopeful that a lot of the stuff I put on social media, a lot of the stuff I put on this podcast is going to help you overcome the challenges that you've got in front of you. But that's where sometimes you need more of a hands-on approach and a direct relationship with someone to actually go, right, bang, what's your problem? This is what I did, this is what works, do this, do this. Don't fucking even think about doing that, because it's a waste of time. Do this first. And doing that just speeds up so much time, guesswork, headache, takes all the crap out of it. And that's been really beneficial for me as well. I've always gone to people that have done stuff in any area. I always go to the trusted, most valuable person that I've got around me at the time and go, right, bang, he knows, she knows, let me go and ask her, and off you go. And it's a quicker, less stressful, easier route to take, trust me. So be careful who you're asking about, because there's certain friends that I've got, there's certain people I've got in my life, there's certain family members that I've got that I will not talk about certain topics because it's a waste of time. They're not going to give me what I need to hear back. So it's pointless, if you've got people around you that are flappers, or they're, it might even be parents, they naturally tend to worry about stuff. What's the point in asking them something that's going wrong or a problem? Because they're likely to give you a negative response. So it's not going to be what you want to hear. So just be selective on who you're actually speaking to. And, it's tough, especially early on in business and journey when you haven't got as many people around you, maybe you haven't got those right relationships around you just yet. You can live in your own head a lot, and it's very difficult to go, right, who do I speak to? And that's why I'm big on creating a community around what I'm doing here with the Construction Entrepreneur, the podcast, and the mastermind I've got, the training I've got, of actually creating a winning environment of like-minded people to actually help each other and support each other, because everyone needs support. It doesn't matter what level you get to, even a huge, massive company doing hundreds of millions. The reason they have a board and board meetings is there's different people in the room, and big pivotal decisions are discussed around experts at each different field. So everyone's got a view, and you've got a well-rounded decision-making process. And that is an art, any team does that. It's a team effort to make the right decisions. But like I say, when you get started, it's very difficult because it's just you. And if you haven't got people with results or experience in what you're trying to do, even more so, you haven't got anyone around you to actually ask and get actual valued information. So what I would like you to do now is actually think about what you can do with your environment for you going forward, for where you are today. If you actually look at exactly where you are today, in your own circumstances, not just listening to me and go, right, this is where I actually am today. What can you do to change your environment and start thinking about going, well, where are your clients? Where are your best clients? What do they do? Where are they? What type of person are your best clients? Are they at the David Lloyd's? Are they at the golf club? Are they at different places? Where are your best clients? Where do they spend time? Where can you put yourself in the best position to meet the right people to get better clients for your business? And then where are your future staff? Where are they? What do they do? What does your future staff look like? Start thinking ahead of time. You always be looking ahead of time, not just where you are today, looking ahead. Where are your future staff? If you know you're going to need a head of accounts in 6 months, where are they likely to be now? Who likely knows them now? Where is your future project manager? Where is your future contracts manager? Where is your future Sparky, carpenter, Tyler, whatever, whatever trade, where are they now? Where do they spend their time? And what environment can you put yourself in where you're actually known, you're visible, you're seen, and you're actually starting to create relationships with those people now? And I bring it back to the gym again, it's staring me on the page, is that I've met a lot of people through the gym, because you tend to meet the right-minded type of people that go there, especially early in the morning. If you're there at 6 in the morning, there's a different type of person in there. You meet people of all walks of life, from professionals to the tradesmen to the fucking accountants, and other business owners. You're going to meet a lot of people. So think about, for you, the environments you can be in. And also think about what environments are your future friends in. Because I think people get very attached to the friends that they grew up with, and that's their loyal crew, and that's who they spend their time with. But you always evolve through business, and as you grow as a person, you reach new levels, you are just going to change friendship groups. It's just how it is, it's that natural, it's part of nature. You have to leave the pack at certain times when you're ready to go to the next level. You've changed as a person. They've stayed still and doing the same shit over and over again. I've certainly got friends like that. They're still drinking tins of cider on a Saturday, sitting on a park bench, or in someone's shit garden with a 20 quid barbecue. My life is way different to that. I've escaped that world from the very bottom of renting a room that I said about at the beginning of this podcast, and finding my way and then joining a gym. My life is completely different to 99% of the people that I spent my time with when I was younger, because I've evolved all the time and moved forwards. So you've got to be thinking, right, where are your future friends? Where are your future people? And what friends do you actually fucking want? What people do you actually want in your life? If you look up to people, do you want them in your life or not? Do you want winners around you? Do you want people that are ahead of you to push you? What does that look like? What are those people? Who are those people? And where are they? And what environments can you push yourself into? And that's another reason why I started playing golf a couple of years ago, because I want to meet older, more experienced people, other business owners, and I want to create more relationships all the time. I deliberately put myself on social media now as well, because it's part of a plan. I do this podcast because I want to create and build relationships with the right people, so that we've got a lot more going on and a lot more opportunities later down the line. And I've got a much bigger network, because it's basically networking at scale. This is growing my brand, my relationships with you guys, anyone listening to this, and my presence in the marketplace, if you like, because I'm looking ahead of time. I'm doing the stuff today that's going to get me to where I want to be ahead of time. And it's what I've always done. It's always worked. It's just about doing that environment and putting yourself out there. Social media is a different environment that I put myself out to create more relationships. So with that being said, what I have got for you guys is a bit of a checklist to control your environment. And number one, the mobile phone is a fucking headache. People on their mobiles all the fucking time, and you can be consumed with stuff. So what I like to do is actually spend time away from my mobile. I deliberately check my emails at certain times of the day. It's generally after a workout with a coffee, I'll quickly check them. Then I'll check them again at lunchtime. I do not scroll and check emails all the time, because I'm controlling my environment. I don't want to be distracted all the time. I turn off notifications of all bullshit stuff that doesn't really matter. I don't want to be distracted all the time by stuff that's irrelevant. I don't want to be distracted by Instagram popping up because someone in fucking Quebec has commented on a post, putting a laugh in a fucking emoji. I don't want the distraction. So remove as many distractions as you can, and actually delete apps that you don't use and don't add value, don't actually bring work into you, don't actually create income for you. Just remove them and get rid of them. Next is actually do a ruthless cull of people around you right now, and actually go, well, who do you spend your time with? Who's good for you? Who's not? And minimize your time with those people. Start stepping away from the wrong people that you don't need to spend time with, so you can actually make room to start spending time and be around the right people. Create a favourable and tidy workplace. So if your desk is a mess right now, if your van is a mess right now, if your office is a mess right now, your house is a mess right now, fucking clean it up, sort your shit out, get everything nice and tidy and in order, get it fresh, get everything fucking cleaned properly. It makes for a more relaxing, calm environment. And construction is stressful as fuck. It's stressful enough as it is. So a clean environment, you know what it's like when you've had your car cleaned, when the office is clean, your mind just feels fucking cleaner as well. So do that as well. deep clean your computer as well, you know, and messages and stuff and email folders and all that sort of shit, and just clean stuff up, because when there's just shit everywhere, again, you've got a messy mind. And lastly, just schedule time to work out and exercise. Clear the head, put yourself in a decent environment, put yourself in a decent state, go and exercise, get some time for you, going out walking, you know, outside in nature, get yourself out there and actually just clear your head, because clearing your mind just makes life so much easier. Thinking time as well. Thinking time is a really important thing, massive part of environment, of actually giving yourself 1 hour's clear time a week to sit there and think about whatever issues you've got going on, what's coming up, what solutions you're doing, and clear thinking time to actually look ahead. Eliminating small talk from your life. I have zero tolerance now for any small talk. I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about the news. I don't want to talk about someone else or what someone else is up to, or some just general bullshit that's going up. I haven't got the time for it. I just haven't got the time. With the workload I've got, I just don't have the time to fucking look and talk about shit like that. So I'd remove that from your life as well. And really, for you guys, set quality time with people. And this is my final point, is that it drives me crazy when you see people out with their families and they're scrolling on their phone. So when they're with their family, they're not actually spending quality time with them. But then when they're at work, they're sat at work thinking about family and looking at Instagram, looking at other people. You want to be setting clear quality time without interruptions. So if you're at work, you're fucking at work. Focus on the task at hand and create the environment yourself. And I think this is the hardest thing when you start out, or when you're fairly small and new. A lot of it relies just purely on you. So you've got to set your own environment, and doing some of this simple stuff is just going to help you do that. You've got to be the controller of your own environment, and just be ruthlessly focused and go, right, between this time and this time I'm doing this work, between this time I'm doing that work, and it's diarised, it's scheduled. But then when you are with your family, you spend fucking quality time with your family, you step away from work, and you just focus purely on what you're doing. I would rather spend an hour decent time with my wife rather than 4 hours of me juggling loads of other stuff and we're not actually spending any time together. That's going to be far better. It's the same in work as well. You can do a power hour of clear, detailed work. Right, I'm doing all the fucking quotes now. I'm doing fucking social media now for the hour. I'm doing emails now for the hour. Bang, 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 and just structure it and set it so that you're just on top of it and you're creating that environment yourself. So I hope that helps on environment. I hope that rings true with you, that environment dictates success. That is it for this episode. If you have not followed already, at Dean Barton Real on YouTube, this does go out as a video on YouTube as well as a podcast, and at Dean Barton Real on Instagram. There is all sorts of topics I've got coming up on the podcast. If you've got a suggestion or an idea on topics that you would like covered, feel free to drop me a DM, drop me a message wherever we are on socials, wherever you follow me. Let me know what you think. Also, give me your feedback as well. It'd be great to hear feedback. I'm fully aware that doing these podcasts, doing these videos, it's me just chatting to a screen, a fucking microphone, and the computer in the background, and I don't get any feedback. It's quite difficult, but it's just good to hear back from people and get the feedback. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you on the next one.